What's going on, everybody? This is Mike coming to you guys live and effect as always. No, this is Phil Jones or Mike Jones, however you guys know me personally and professionally. And I am the host of the Extraordinary Men podcast. And you guys know who the single most greatest Double Dragon, Ken and Ryu style co host on the face of the planet is. I can't think of a better situation than to introduce the one, the only, the most importantest station name.
What is going on? I don't think I don't think the B mic is more important than the A mic.
Ain't no this is an A plus and an A minus, Mike. Ain't no going on. And depending on
What's
who,
going on,
depending on,
everybody? What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome to another classic episode of The Extraordinary Men. I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
all right. So, what are we talking about today?
Today we're gonna be talking about why becoming my bad. Today we talking about why becoming successful sometimes hurts relationships. And this is a real big one because there's a lot of us that's on our journey. And there's a lot of us that are really starting to see the reality of when we're trying to move things, when we try to move mountains and become great and successful at something, but you don't see the same drive and enthusiasm from those that's around you. And man, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
All right. So, I mean, because I don't want to sugarcoat nothing. I don't want to drag it out. I just want to call it the way that it is. A great deal of the time. Hold on, please.
Yep. You know what I'm saying? Make sure, we keep telling y'all, and we going to keep telling y'all to make sure that y'all tune in every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that you tune in Friday. It's the same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when we is cooking. And then on top of that, we come right back at y'all with a morning show. You know what I'm saying? To get your juices flowing for the morning, Saturday morning, get your weekend going. And we hit y'all at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that y'all tune in. We always got fire topics. What's up, Keita? That is Extraordinary Men's First Lady. And today, Keita, we talking about why sometimes becoming successful hurts relationships.
All right. I'm sorry for
Really
that brief delay.
really need you to tune in on this one because you know what I'm saying, you are on your entrepreneurial journey, financial journey, and I'm pretty sure that you can speak to this topic. Yeah. What? Yeah, that's not even a question.
We create a
We should,
mastermind every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday.
we definitely do that for sure.
No, but
But yeah,
absolutely, we can
yeah, we
set
can do
something
that.
up. I think that is past due, actually.
Yeah, it's long overdue.
All right,
Yeah,
so
it's long
let's get
overdue.
right into this because I definitely don't want to delay something. Sorry about the delay. My daughter just mistakenly spilled something into her laptop, and now we are minus one Apple product in my household.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So I'll be in the store going to go replace a laptop tomorrow.
I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I do know liquid and electronics just don't get along.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like money and people who like to spend it.
Yeah, that part too.
So let's get into this. I just want to go ahead and get right into it. So here's what I mean when I say why becoming successful sometimes hurts relationships. I'm not talking about boyfriend, girlfriend exclusively. I know people have a tendency to be symbiotically attached to that word. But
Mhm.
it's important to understand that any situation, any covenant, depending on what world you apply to, any situation to where it's you and one other person or you and a group of other people, those are relationships. And whatever the tenets of those relationships are based upon areas where you guys agree. Well, what happens is that throughout my lifetime, I have experienced on many occasions to where once I decided to do something different, or once somebody in the group decided they wanted to do something different, everything changed. The entire dynamic changed. Why did that dynamic change? Well, because in order for me to get prepared for this new thing that I have going on, there's certain areas of my life that I have to cut back on. For instance, if I'm going out and hanging out all the time and we always have enough time to hang out, but now it's like, okay, well, I'm going to college now. Well, that additional time that I would have been spending hanging out and enjoying my time and enjoying all the leisures of life, now is going into studying and trying to better myself and absorb the material that I'm getting. If I decide,
Mhm.
hey, I want to go for a job with upward mobility, well, guess what? I have to start focusing on getting myself into the place or getting myself into the mindset, dressing the part, looking the part, acting the part, becoming better, well versed at the things that I need to do so that I can start moving up in the company. That also comes along with the fact that my image needs to change in order for me to be seen in the light that people want to see me. So there's certain activities I can no longer take part in.
Mhm.
It's a natural progression that a lot of us don't understand. And a lot of people who are stuck in a very stagnant place in their life, they associate the behavior change of somebody that's trying to elevate themselves with fronting. You think you're better than us. You think that insert insult or shaming tactic here. But the moral of it comes down to the fact that in order for me to reach the area that I want to reach, it requires me to make different decisions with my life. And everybody is not going to receive those changes equally. Oh, not a bomb want to work. Not a bomb want to work.
Just saying. Just saying.
Just saying. But no,
So
what say you, King?
I mean that's absolutely true, and I definitely seen a difference back then when I was with LAS, um, and I was gonna be well, not gonna be. I was on my journey because at that time when I was doing the music, it was just a hobby for real. Because I already had a life goal of going to college, and I don't know if maybe it wasn't seen as a reality or anything like that. But when that time came, I was gone. But I definitely heard oh, this is just a hobby to you. Oh, this is just oh, you gonna leave us? Like I heard a lot of that, you know. So I definitely have actually witnessed this firsthand. I've also seen to where um when you're on your way trying to elevate where you got certain family members or even friends even that try to sabotage your growth, you know. Maybe they try to keep certain people away from you, or they post certain pictures that try to paint you in a certain way, or even just going into spreading rumors and things of that nature. There's numerous of ways that people try to knock you down when you're trying to elevate yourself. And again, that does come along with that whole, or you think you better than me, or you better than us, or you looking down on us. How when I'm still coming around here, I'm still kicking it with y'all. Like that part hasn't changed, but as far as like the way that we used to do it heavily, yeah, that changed. But I'm never not answering your phone, or insert whatever hit.
One of the most important things that come along in this is that you have to take into consideration the fact that nobody is meant to be the same. So when I decide that I no longer want to walk around in jeans and t-shirts and I want to upgrade my image and I want to experiment around with blazers and loafers and other things, when I say
Mhm.
I no longer want to go out to the traditional clubs, but I want to go to the piano bar, I want to go to elevate myself and put myself in a different light. When I say that I want to go to mixers and like other social groups to where I can start connecting with other
Yeah,
people of
yeah,
like-minded status, that's not a diss to you. That is a reflection of the fact that I am not in the same place that I was yesterday. And that's one of the things that I think that a lot of us have to get out of the habit, out of the mindset of, is the fact that you cannot, under any circumstances, look at somebody else's elevation as a slight to you. It's ridiculous. But in understanding, you cannot possibly see anything positive about my elevation if you're still not ready to figure out who you are. That's what a
yeah.
risk
Not only
comes.
that, yeah, exactly. That's where the riff comes in, and the riff comes in is because I think that a lot of individuals just don't get it or understand where they lay on the friendship spectrum when changes start to take place. You know, you should be okay. If you have no plans, if you have no idea or no plans or whatever to elevate and grow and move into different statuses and tiers and things of that nature, then you should be okay when the friend that does want to grow and move into different status and hit different plateaus and things of that nature, then you should be perfectly fine with you're the once in a blue moon friend. I'll call you when I'm ready to kick it, friend. Insert part-time leisure type of relationship here. You should be okay with that.
You know, that sounds good in theory, but realistically, that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, I
But
know.
the fact that,
I know.
yeah, of course. I mean, you know, in essence, it's like life elevation and goals and things that you have all come with a price. And you have to realize the fact that it's like everybody's going to change. One day, people are going to want to start families. When I started a family, I was not as readily available as I was. Some days, I'm not answering the phone. If my daughter is sick, I'm not coming out to hang out. I'm not recording no music. I'm not having no activities that are outside of making sure that my daughter gets well. That's just not going to happen. If she's struggling in school, I'm not going to sit on the phone with you for 2.5 hours to talk about mumbo jumbo when I really need to help her get into this math. It's just
Hmm.
understanding that there is a reality that has to be faced when we're dealing with these type of circumstances. One of the most important things that I think that a lot of people miss when it comes to becoming successful is the fact that everybody can't see the vision the way that you see it. Doesn't matter how you explain it. In order for you to separate yourself from here and put yourself here, the only way that that happens is that you have to put yourself in the mindset of what it takes to develop something. If you've never been in the mindset of understanding how to develop something, well, guess what? You couldn't possibly fathom what I'm going through, what my day to day consists of as I'm trying to build this thing. So my lack of availability then in turn is translated as a slight toward you.
Yeah, I was just reading Keita's message here. I don't think we're accustomed to seeing people evolve in home or families. We are often told not to evolve according to your own personal will. It's only acceptable when we're in alignment with a greater agenda. And I think even then, when we're in line with a greater agenda, there's an agenda to the agenda. You know, there's always some type of come up that this person is thinking of within the agenda.
You know, we can sit down, right? And let's just use our group dynamic, right?
Hmm.
If you took 4 or 5 of us out the group and we were just all sitting around hanging, let's just say we were all at a random bar
Hmm.
and we were just having a couple of beers talking. And somebody said, you know what would be a really cool idea? And everybody's just sitting around, what was that? We should do this. Or somebody should do this. You have the one friend that's like, they're going to find every reason for why it can't work. You're going to have another one in the group that's going to say, hey man, that sounds like a real great idea, but it falls on deaf ears. Then you're going to have that other person that's going to sit back and say, we should probably try that. I think that could actually work. Out of that group of 5 dynamic, you might get to a place to where one person call you after the fact and say, hey, were you serious about that?
Hmm.
But in a lot of our cases, we don't have that person. A lot of the times, the person who's coming up with the ideas, they are that person. So when you say, I don't know, let's start a podcast, and it's 15 people starting a podcast, and all of a sudden it's just 2 people remaining that are actively invisible in that thing, it's understandable, or at least it should be understandable, that everybody does not see the vision the same way. Everybody cannot see themselves. They don't see themselves in the vision for whatever their reasons are. It's just like anybody else that's putting a business together. I don't know very many people who would not want to start a business or start something, a group or organization or something with their friends and family. I have not met a single person who says, you know what, I just want to do it all by myself, unless those people were just so burned out with trying to offer opportunities to other people and they just say, you know what, if you want it done right, I'm going to do it myself.
Hmm.
But I know very few people that are just so die hard about doing things on their lonesome. Most people that I know, or most people that I've had conversations with that actually want things, they want things from a generational aspect. They want things for everybody involved, for the children. For I want to make sure that my mom has what she needs, make sure my dad has what he needs. I want to make sure that they don't have to work anymore, and that's why I'm willing to put in the hard work. But I don't just want it for my mom and dad. I want it for your mom and dad, his mom and dad, her mom and dad too. But they don't see it on a global scale. They see it as that's your idea. I don't get anything out of your
That's
idea.
where it
That's not
stops.
what I want.
That's where it stops. It was your idea. That's your thing. That's your baby. It's yours. When in reality, yeah, we thought of the idea, but the idea doesn't move without the rest of y'all. So how do you not see that this vision is coming to life because of us, not me, us? That was the whole purpose of you being came to in the first place, so that this train can get moving. But yeah, you're right. Like they just don't see like themselves as part of either whatever is being built. They don't see no benefit for them out of what's being built. Like you said, I ain't doing this for me. Like your mom and dad finna be able to eat off this. Your kids finna be able to eat off this. Your kids finna be able to eat off this. My people finna be able to eat off this. But they just don't see it that way. You got people that are, you got people that can be 10, 20, 15, year thinker, and then you got somebody that's just trying to think about tomorrow. They trying to figure out how to just get through today. And that's part of a lot of reason why a lot of movements fall.
I look at things and I say to myself, why didn't this succeed? I often ask myself a lot of times about why things don't succeed. And it's not necessarily a surprise why it doesn't succeed. Like, I'm not necessarily surprised when things don't go the way that they're supposed to. And it's a very unfortunate thing that that's a part of it, is that you get so accustomed to things failing or things not being seen all the way through to the end. And I won't lie to you, there's another symbiotic attachment that one has to break themselves out of. Is that when you see other people not supporting it or downplaying the dream and the idea, then you abandon it.
Mm.
You don't stop because this thing that you wanted for all of
Mm.
us, that because other people don't see it, you associate their lack of being able to see the idea with it must be a bad idea. So you stop.
You let your fire get doused.
Read that comment.
Yeah, my ex-husband told me the same thing. I needed us, and he said it was just mine. I needed the support and included him in it. There's nothing you can do about it. And in a lot of situations, you are absolutely correct. You just cannot make up someone's mind that honestly just can't see the vision and is refusing to try to understand and see the vision and try to go where this thing can go, or try to take it where this thing can go. They just don't have that drive in them to do that.
Hold on, please.
Mm-hmm. So as far as I remember, even outside of just trying to elevate and grow yourself, there's a lot of other factors that play into that as well. Where let's say that if we come from a different style of household, I come from a household with a mother and a father. A lot of friends that I grew up with did not. So I definitely felt a lot of animosity from that as well. Not simply just because I wanted to, do something to be something and go somewhere in life, develop a successful business that holds contracts with Dunkin' Donuts. Simple stuff on that level will cause a relationship to break apart, or friendship to break apart.
And the funny thing about it is that it's an outward appearance that had nothing to do with you. It's like when I was at one of my worst stages in life, Mom gave me a job and dad got me a car, my very first car.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a lot of the opportunities, but I never saw your opportunities as they was a slight to me. But what I can tell you is the fact that on a personal scale, I never saw that about you. But when high school graduation came around, I looked and I was very resentful at my high school graduation. So I'm looking around, I'm seeing people that I graduated with, they're getting new cars and they're getting trips to out of the country, and like parents are just at the graduation, just handing them their graduation gifts and stuff. And I'm just sitting there looking like, all this for what?
You're not
Like,
the
great,
only
I
one
met
that
you
thinks that way
graduate.
too.
You said
You're
what?
not the only one that has that state of mind, that thinking as well. But what did I do it for?
Well, because the thing is, again, we're talking about the mindset of an 18-year-old who didn't know it. I didn't know anything. And like I tell a lot of people, when I discuss my upbringing, I discuss my when I discuss my life up until that point, everything from foster care and the stuff that I endured. When I discuss these things, I discuss these things often because I want people to understand that when you make a decision to change your perception, to change your life and change your circumstances, there's a lot that comes along with that. And it's not necessarily about how far you have to dig yourself out to get to a stable ground. It's about, are you willing to do the work? Because even you in a two-parent household, you had your own struggles. Some of your struggles was external. There's things that went on in the family, health problems, all types of things that only people in the house know.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks rosy and bubbly to the people outside because they're more focused on what you have that they don't know about what blessings that they have. They're ignoring their own situations in spite of looking down on you.
Mm-hmm.
And these things happen a lot of times because of the fact that your wins oftentimes get discredited because, oh, well, you wouldn't have this if not for this. Why is that a bad thing?
Exactly.
So my thing is, like I told somebody once before, is like, for you to get mad at somebody because they had their mother and their father, then why don't you go ahead and abandon your children? Man, I ain't never do that. Okay, so how do you still hold on to animosity for what your parents didn't do, but then now you telling yourself like, okay, well, I'm going to raise my children the way that I wish that my dad would have raised me. Makes sense, right? Except for the fact that you're projecting all that old anger off on your children because of what you didn't have, because you didn't do the work to heal yourself for your shortcomings or for the things that didn't happen to you before you started bringing children into the world. So now you're doing what your dad did a different way. You're there, but you're cutting your children down. You're constantly beating them down. You're constantly trying to force them to become people that you aren't, solely because of the fact that you're looking at the world in a sense of not what do I have to contribute to them, but
Mm-hmm.
you better be lucky you have me because you could be what I was.
I mean, and that kind of falls under that whole umbrella of living through your child, where let's talk about the father that was like the big jock, wanted to go in the NFL, wanted to go in the NBA, didn't make it, or really honestly probably never had a shot, and trying to now push all that anger and animosity because he didn't make it off of his kid and try to push his kid to do that and live through his kid. I don't like that, man.
I look at things from this perspective and this perspective alone. It's the fact that when I have to actually give myself a self-assessment, and I do this often because there's just no one size fits all when it comes down to how we deal with life. I ask myself, are you a reflection of where you want to go? So when I look around and I look at my grooming, how I speak, do I project myself accordingly? Do I carry myself in a light that people can respect? What am I willing to do for eyes and ears? Am I willing to make a buffoon out of myself? What am I willing to do? And what am I not willing to do? And how does that outwardly project on me? Then there's also that part of how do you project off onto others? I've been told many times that people can't connect with me anymore. Oh, you're not the same. I'm like, is that a compliment or is that a dig? I'm not sure. So I didn't know that at 37 I was supposed to be the same person I was in my 20s or my late teens. Should I still be talking the same way? Should I still have the same views about women? Should I still have the same views about the LGBT community? Should I still feel the same way that I did when I was young and didn't know anything now that I'm older with wisdom and life experience?
Mm.
That doesn't make sense. But these are ways that people or tactics that people use to cut down your wins. These are things that people use because it's hard to congratulate people when you're unsuccessful. You have to understand that in order to celebrate a win, you have to be a winner yourself. You cannot be a loser or somebody who is losing the game of life and be happy for other people. Because everybody else's win is going to be a source of pain for you. I don't care what anybody tells me. I'm not a psychologist. I don't see the correlation between I can hip hop hooray for everybody and then turn around and go do the things that I do that are causing me to lose their life. It doesn't make sense. There's no correlation.
Mm. Absolutely, and you touched on that was fantastic. But you also touched on the topic of projection, where you start to project off on other people. How do you want to be seen and viewed? How do you carry yourself and things of that nature? And I think a real big issue that we have with that is trying to find and utilize justifications to do what we do and act the way we act and carry ourselves the way we carry ourselves. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Just like that video with the athletes and the whole sweat research that they did behind that. And what I say, I bet a lot of people is going to utilize that video as a way to not take care of their body, to not put themselves in a healthy situation. Just want to bring that up and utilize how people are using excuses for justifications.
Oddly enough, there's so many situations that I've been privy to, and I guess this just comes along with getting older, or just trying to choose to be a pillar of wisdom rather than a pillar of buffoonery. That oftentimes I have a lot of conversations with younger people. They ask questions, and it's like, I work in a establishments where you have 4 generations of people that work in an establishment. So there's a lot of Generation Z's, a lot of younger millennials. So being on the mid to older spectrum of the millennial group, a lot of questions I ask because I've been in places to where they're trying to get to, but they want to get there a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the questions that I'm often asked is, like, me being in supervision and stuff like that, and they will ask me, like, hey, what did you do to get there? What made you make that decision to do what you did? And I tell everybody that the only reason why I did it is because the math doesn't make sense. And it's like you have to really look at the spectrum of how long that you have in good working years. And that's if you are able to be healthy long enough between 18 and 65 or 18 and 67. Everybody is not given the same life map. So the timetable of my good earning years when my body is at peak performance, it doesn't make sense to drag my feet to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why not? If there's an opportunity to jump from here to here, why not take it? In these same conversations, you'll have people that'll, oh, well, I'll never do that. You couldn't pay me to be a supervisor and stuff. And that's why I tell you what to do every day. That's why you wait for me for instructions. That's why when I say jump, you jump. Because that's the life you chose. You chose not to be a leader in things that you do. You said that being mediocre is fine. And I'm not saying that about people who choose to do entry level employee stuff, because I'm not dissing anybody for their life decisions. Some people like the simplicity. Some people, they have everything they need. They're good at managing their money. They live within their means, whatever the circumstances may be. But when I see people say these negative things, it usually is a concept of how, I won't even say poverty minded, but how low level thinking that you are. When you say you could not pay me to take any level of responsibility, most times those people who say this, and you look at the reflection of their lives, they're not doing well.
Yeah, because that's all I heard from that statement was you couldn't pay me to take on responsibility and to be a lead. You can't pay me to be a leader. You can't pay me to be the person that's dependent on to make sure that this ship runs well. That's all I heard.
Yeah, my experiences with people have told me that when you hear people speaking like this, those people are generally not doing well. Those people are generally in positions to where they probably need the money more than you.
Yeah.
They either poor money managers, bouncing from house to house, any myriad of circumstances to where things are not always on the up and up. But again, it's the goal in the things that they say and what they do is to project outward, to take the attention off of how poorly that they're doing in life. So for me, taking on a position, you like to downplay and cut down my achievements or anything that I chose to do because I chose that I wanted more for myself. That you will minimize it by trying to inflict doubt, inflict any aspect of your own lack of desire to move forward into anything positive. So you turn around and you ask that same person, so what do you think a good idea is? Then you
Yes.
have oh, I got plenty of investments. Or I do all types of stuff. They can never give you a definitive answer on stuff as far as what do you think will be a better alternative rather than taking on a position of leadership. Are you even a leader in your own house? Do you
You
even
can't be
have,
talking like that. You can't be talking like that because if you would have came back and said, "Hey, you know, there's a reason why I didn't take management is because I got this, and this going on, and this brings in X amount. So I'm here because I need this and this to fund this insurance. Da 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 da. It's gonna help me out over here. I'll be able to stack this and put that over there. And if he's not coming to you speaking like that, like he actually has an actual plan for his life laid out, then it's exactly what you just said. You couch surfing, your finances are screwed up. You probably got under 500 FICO. Ain't no telling where you at. But anybody that has their life together and or in the midst of trying to get their life together don't speak that way. They just don't. It's not in their vocabulary.
you know, I'm just at this place, right? So when I really start assessing and looking at things, what comes to mind is the fact that people generally don't realize the negativity that they spew at other people's decisions. That in my experience, you'll have a situation to where you're trying to move up the food chain, and the lady that you're with, she wants time. She wants time. She wants time. She wants time. And it's like you don't get time because in order for me to reach that place to where I can provide a better life for you requires me to put more time into building this thing that I'm doing. And then there's a rift and all types of resentment and button heads because in your mind, my job is more important than you. In my mind, I work this hard because of you. That I see you as my motivation and you see what I do as a hindrance.
Okay. I'm gonna go get them.
You have no problem reaping the benefits of the things that I work for, but you can't understand the amount of time that comes into play. And it's like there's nothing. I don't criticize people for it. It's just this is one of the reasons why I try to tell people, especially guys, like, listen, if you want to become something, don't try to do it and balance a relationship at the same time. You usually have to have these things figured out so you know what you have to offer financially, time, otherwise, because it causes problems. So if you're going to be a top level exec and you know, hey, listen, before you walk in this situation, I'm a top level exec and it requires me to be busy. Are you okay with that? Well, if you've never been there and you're trying to get there in time, well, I might have had 2 or 3 days a week that I could give you, but then as I'm going through the process, now I have less than a day a week. And that day, sometimes I'm sleeping or anything else that needs to be done because I don't sleep because I'm working 10, 12, 13-hour days. I'm on call, my cell phone, I got to be at my laptop at a moment's notice. Like, I got to get this report in at such and such time. Like, I'm competing for that top level spot. So I really have to be hustling harder than everybody else is trying to get there. Well, she may not understand it. She may not get it.
And it's like she's gonna say yes at the beginning because she probably hasn't been in that situation yet to fully grasp
Or
it.
because you heard the benefits but don't really understand all that goes
All
into
that
it
goes
until
into it until it's time to really show and prove, you know. And it's like, you know, getting reports done and all that. I'm working on stuff right now for Panera Bread, trying to get these work orders, you know, saying done and completed. I got like a bunch of Excel files and contracts that I got to go through now, dude. So even when we get off this, I got a whole probably another 4 hours to work on this stuff before I can try to catch some shut eye, and then be back in the office tomorrow. And it's just a lot of time that goes in trying to elevate, trying to be somebody, trying to be successful. You know, I am lucky she understands. You know, she's definitely held the house down for sure. But you know, for anybody else that really want to know what the real is, that's what it is for real. You are busy.
So let's talk about the other side of the spectrum, right? And I definitely don't want to glance over this part. What about what I start to feel when I'm busting my behind to create something, to build something, and people want to start gravitating to you once they start seeing the tree bearing fruit?
You know what? I like to believe in the philosophy of my door is always open. You know, because I'm older and have more wisdom, I understand. I have more understanding that I know that my vision, you wasn't able to see it at first. You wasn't able to gravitate and grab this thing by the horns and see it through. I'm really understanding to that, you know. So to see it flourish and you want to come back in to see, you know, how the machine operates, you know, get in where you fit in, try to see if you can help now because now you can fully see the picture. You know, maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe because I got my heart on my sleeve or something like that. But I'm just really understanding of people not being able to see the picture, but once the picture is drawn, they can gravitate back to it. I'm really open to that because it's really not their time.
Okay, so here's another perspective on that.
Okay.
There's things that you put blood, sweat, and tears into. And there's an acknowledgement and an understanding of the things that's like, okay, well, maybe you didn't get it at first. That's a fair assessment. Now, does that mean that you just get to walk in and reap the benefits of all the hard work?
No, you don't get to pick back up where we left off. Like you don't get to just slide in the slot, and you know, especially when there's a certain stigma that was built around this. There's a certain type of quality assurance. There's a certain type of visual appearance, whatever, you know, insert elevation element here. You know, it took time to cultivate and build this. So no, you don't get to just slide in a slot and, you know, we off to the races. No, that's not what I mean. But you can, you know what I'm saying, come in through the door and you can, you know what I'm saying, you can chill, you can, you know, be the note taker, watch the podcast and, maybe, pluck out, hey, this was a really good point. Y'all should turn that into a short. You know what I'm saying? Like slowly start to work your way back in. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
What's your thoughts on the homie pass?
I don't believe in a homie pass. I've never believed in a homie pass. Just like I don't believe in a discount because we homies. If your price is $300, I'm gonna pay you $300. That's what it is. I don't believe in a homie pass.
I looked at a situation once to where I saw somebody who got super tight with somebody else and they were ranting online because that homie told them that I don't do discounts. And I just watched this overly entitled rant just go for like, it couldn't have been no longer than 3 minutes, but it was 3 minutes of just some of the most liquid poo that I ever heard in my life. To where you're giving all the reasons why, oh, when you were in this situation, when this person was in this situation, I did this, I did this, I did this. And you're throwing up every situation for the reason why. So you mean to tell me that cutting a couple of dollars off of a service that somebody bust their behind to cultivate that skill and to turn it into something that was monetizable, you're telling me that that's all it took for you to air that person out and all their dirty laundry for a discount? A discount.
Stop the cap.
That's all it took. So you can't convince me that there is not an underlying resentment while you're elevating, that people are waiting for a reason to diminish you. I don't believe it. I don't believe that people who are not working as hard as you or who can't see the vision the way that you do, that in the event that they get an opportunity to cut you down, that they wouldn't take the opportunity.
Yeah,
I'm not saying everybody. I shouldn't have to say everybody. I know I'm dealing in a world of intelligent people, but
you got to put the disclaimer out there just in case.
For the mafia who can't wrap their mind around, not all. For the mafia who can't get past that point, no, I'm not saying all. What I am saying though is that I do believe that there is a more than sufficient group of people who are looking at everything that you do, and they're not getting motivated to move based off what you do, but instead they're seething with envy from what you do. Their lives don't have meaning if it's not finding. Like, I've literally watched people who were best friends at one point in time that all of a sudden can't stand each other. And you know what happened? She got a man. A man that she respect.
Wow.
When you call and say, "Hey, girl, hey, I'm sorry, I can't talk. Me and so and so, we getting ready to go out to brunch."
Yeah,
instead of you feeling like you gaining a brother, you feel like you losing a friend.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. You lost your road dog. At least you feel that way. Yep.
Yeah, like you feel like, but is it that you feel like you're losing your road dog, or is it like you feel like you're losing your leverage to have somebody to complain to about your unsuccessful life? And now that person is where they are, or maybe you feel as if you should be them. I should have. Like, do you know how many people got mad at me because the dude that I was early on, or the way that I was with women, and I was one of the first ones to get married? You know how many people cut me down? People who are close to me, who literally would sit in front of my wife at the time and just, I can't believe it. Let me tell you all this horrible stuff that your husband used to be back in the day. And like, come on, bro.
Trash people, man.
But see, the one thing that happened is I admitted to all my nonsense up front. Because in the back of my mind, even back then, I sat there and I thought to myself, one day some of this stuff might come up. And I'm not going to let nobody tarnish my image. So I'm going to tell on myself first. This is who I was. This is what I did. This is what I was known for. Somebody somewhere going to tell you, it's going to come out one day that I did this, that I was this type of way with women, that I was this type of way in the street, that I was this type of way overall. However, I'm done now. And I'm telling you, with the exception of you, probably Emo and Marvin, everybody else could not wait to sit across the table and tell the absolute worst Mike Jones story. And you know what the common link in all those people were?
They didn't amount to nothing.
No, some of them were successful. But you know what they wasn't successful at?
Marriage.
Dealing with women. Because you come and look at somebody who you used to look down on, and you look at the change that he made in his life, and only thing that you see is how in the hell did he do that? When I got this to offer, I got this to offer, and I can't get act right out of no woman. But she cook when we come to the house, she's smiling, she come and she's social, but then she go off to her own area so that the guys can sit around and talk. Oh, you hold on, how my man Booksy say, y'all hypnotized with hate. For something that I ain't take this from y'all. I didn't manipulate y'all's situation. I just did the work. How you mad at me for that? But when it comes down to it, the semblance of a success of any kind, if somebody, what they really think about you will oftentimes come out. That you really thought less of me and my win in the area that you feel like you're better than me in is driving the hate out of you.
I mean, there's plenty of tests that you can do to bring out the reality of the friendship or relationship with anybody, whether it be, hey, you know what I'm saying, can you help me move? And hey man, my car broke down. See if they just simply just answer the phone. There's plenty of things that you can do to verify, the hatred or jealousy within people, for sure.
I mean, there's things that I've done for people that I never expect to get back. It's like I'm at a place to where even with my own relatives, to where I just don't fool with them. Over on this side of the family, like I don't fool with them. I'm like, as we recently spoke about a situation not too long ago, and it's just like I'm not gonna speak about it publicly because it's not my situation to speak on, but I can speak on my part. Like I don't like being used, and I don't like being backdoored. I don't like people looking at my situation like, okay, well, let me play on his sympathies to try to get money or try to get resources out of him. Because from the outside looking in, it appears like my life is something because your life isn't. But then rather than just being forthcoming and being honest and, hey, this is where I'm at, this is the situation I'm in a bind, can we? No, that's not what you do. Instead, you try to find ways to manipulate and play on my emotions, play on my sympathies to get access to stuff. Because you feel like if you do the direct approach might get you a no, and then that door is closed. But if I paint the picture and I create this very vivid view of the problem, that you will feel, and these are tactics that I learned from my sisters, to where I will explain the problem to you, and I won't directly ask you, but I will paint the picture to where you will feel like, man, you're in a bad situation. Like, yo, well, I got $50 for you, man. Let me help you out. Like there's all types of manipulative strategies that you see people use to try to find ways to take advantage of you, and it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, I call that
Like,
snake into the yes.
yeah,
Snake into the yes. And we had a deep conversation about the whole I don't mind being utilized. Don't use me. You know, if we can come to a common ground together, we can work together, we can build together, we can try to do whatever together that's going to be a mutual benefit for all parties involved. You know, we can definitely do that and utilize not just me, but I can utilize you as well. You know, it's a uniform situation. Straight using where you, me, whoever on the opposite end gets zero benefit out of the situation. I ain't with that.
Relentless Mikey, what up, man? Hey, publicly acknowledging, man, my condolences, sir. You know, I wish I could have made it up there to come and, pay my respects and everything, but I'm sitting out there on the Extraordinary Men podcast. My prayers have been with you and your family, bro.
Salute, salute.
With all of this being said, I just really want people to come to this realization that, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
I've been trying to follow it as best as humanly possible. It's been finals week for my daughter, but I'll give you a call real soon. We catch up. One thing I can say for sure, if not for anything else, is that you have to be mindful of the fact that, and it's just a piece of life advice, if I can give anybody any. You have to be mindful of the fact that whenever you're going to change the dynamic that people are accustomed to, it's going to come with backlash. It's going to come with resentment. It's going to come with some change. No matter whether the change is positive, negative, or indifferent, every time that you change the fabric of the way that people knew you or what they knew about you, when you decide that you want to be promotable, it's going to come with something else. Especially if you're in an environment where you're getting promoted from within, the moment that the dynamic changes from my coworker to now it's a boss employee relationship, it's going to come with a change. Even if you still feel like that's my buddy, they might not see you the same way now that they, oh, I can't hang out with you, or where we hang out during lunch and we take shots in the parking lot or whatever things that we do. Well, now that you over there on that side, I don't necessarily know if I can do those things.
Do
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I can't respect you in the same light if you taking part in the same activities that I am. So now you understand that there's an immediate separation between them and myself. So along with that, you have to take into consideration that every time that you put yourself in a different situation with the people that's around you, what they knew you for, when it shifts, when it changes, when it becomes something different, you have to expect that everybody will not be able to adjust the same.
Mm-hmm. They see you as that.
Yeah. So after I just got done working a 12-hour day and you call my phone and you want to yakety yak, not you per se, but there's a priority list of who gets my time when I'm tired. There's some people that, regardless of how long that we've known each other, there's some people that no matter what happens, obviously, my daughter called my phone. She takes top priority because she's the most important person that cannot handle it for herself.
Mm-hmm.
She takes top priority before anybody else. Hey, Dad, I'm hungry. There's no food in the refrigerator. I don't care who I'm talking to. Hold on one second. My daughter's calling. Hey, what's up? Everything good? What you need? Hey, I'll call you right back after. I don't miss those calls.
Mm-hmm.
If I do miss that call, I'm going to make that call right back because it could be important or it could be frivolous, but I need to know. Then there's the pecking order and order succession. So when it comes down to my boys, my friends, my homies, you need to understand that the number one is number 4 or 5 on my list. And that's not a diss.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that when you said that you were going to become a family man, the first word is man. Man has priority. Family man means that the man that I am for this nuclear group of people is my number one priority. Then the pecking order starts to go further down. So when you call my phone, I try not to miss your phone calls. Because I know that it's not going to be a phone call that's going to be a waste of my time.
And you right, you right, Zans. You very right, Zans. And you know what? I honestly want to take that and make that a whole nother show. Your emergency is not my emergency. It's not my problem. Now, if I'm able to, if I have the time, if I have the resources, I will help. I will help you coast through. I will help you get through. I will help you. But dropping, like literally just dropping everything and making your problem my problem, not gonna happen.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how the shaming tactics will come in because I won't prioritize what you need. And I think that there's also the duplicity of that situation. That there's also another side of that to where you have to be forthcoming with people to let them know, hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I may be able to help you out this once, but don't call me no more with this.
Mm-hmm.
Your old lady having problems, that's your woman. You need to go figure that out. Stop calling me about that. If you having money problems, don't call me. Go find your fiduciary. Go find you a money manager. Go find you somebody who deals with those problems professionally. You can't sleep at night, you have an anxiety, go get a counselor. Go to the doctor. Lose some weight. Change up your diet. Go find you a dietitian. Have these conversations with people. Stop wasting my time with problems that you can solve for yourself. You think about how much of your day, if I had to put a pie chart together, and you consider how much of your time is wasted with people asking you questions or blowing smoke about problems that they can solve, what percentage do you think it would be?
Mm.
That's not a question I'm looking for an answer. I'm just saying that to
I know,
anybody that's listening.
but the thought process behind that question.
You think about when you go and log into your bank account. Say, I'll empathize but rarely sympathize. I mean, empathy and sympathy are two completely different things. Like, to sympathize only means that, to empathize means that I can understand your plight and that it's bringing you problems. To sympathize means that I have a relative understanding of what's going on with you. So if you're broke, and I've been broke before, hey, I completely understand where you at. Empathy, if I've had my money together my whole life, it's just like, hey, I'm sorry that that's happening to you, but that ain't my problem.
Yeah.
I can't help you, but I pray for you. I'll pass on a good financial advisor your way. But you find yourself oftentimes looking at situations to where it's just like, I don't really want to hear this. And that's when I think that, like, and that's gonna be my closeout for this segment, is that relationships oftentimes go bad because now I'm so busy doing things that are bringing benefit to my life that I don't want to make time for your bullcrap.
Tune in Friday,
my wife. So anybody, but my daughter just broke her laptop tonight, which means that anybody who thought they was gonna ask to borrow some money, my money now, when I get paid, has to go to replacing my daughter's laptop. So that well is dropped. Just putting that out there as an open disclaimer. My priority just happened less than an hour ago, indicating that my resources have to go toward my priority. So whatever your emergency is, you will not get a loan today. Good example, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We got We got Miss Williams in here. Appreciate you coming by. Zans, appreciate you stopping by. He said, also, don't pile on people because you don't know what they are going through. You know,
Yeah. I
there's
mean, the
this
thing,
analogy, and I hope that I don't butcher it, but there's this analogy about working in an office, and it was something along the lines of every time you walk past a cubicle, there would be a stack of paper just piled on top of your stack of paper. And every time you walk by a cubicle, it'd just be more stacks of paper just thrown on top of your stacks of paper. So now you got everybody else's stacks of paper sitting on top of your stacks of paper, which is your problems. That's your workload. But everybody else put their workload on your workload.
so what you're referring to, what you're referring to is my Xerox paper theory.
Yeah.
So
I knew
so
I
I'm
was
gonna go
like,
ahead and
man, I
put that
can't
out
remember
there.
where that came from.
So this is my unpublished theory called the Xerox paper theory. Long story short is when you look at your problems or you look at your life and everything that you have, you're walking around with a 5-pound stack of Xerox paper. Every time that somebody calls you and dumps off on you, they're taking a couple of sheets of that paper and they're dumping it on you, on your pile. So now before the day is over, you now have 10 pounds of paper in your hand and only 5 pounds of it actually belongs to you. This is your emotional threshold. When people are losing their mind or they start to overspill, is because now my threshold has gotten so heavy that I end up dropping my entire stack because now I'm overrun with your paperwork and my paperwork too. For every person that I consistently listen to, that I consistently like, I don't give you your paper back and say, hey man, listen, well, no, that's your problem, player. Go ahead, go put that in the printer. Go put that in your own printer. Don't bother me. But that's how that theory goes. Is that every time somebody comes to you, they're taking a couple of sheets of paper off of their pack and they're dumping them on top of your pack. And that's how that theory goes. Is that this is what's happening with a lot of us. And a lot of us, we become closed off to people because our threshold gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Like, whereas I used to be like prior, what do you say, prior to COVID, like dead smack in the center of COVID. I was working 3 jobs, busting my behind, trying to rebuild my life in some semblance. And in turn, I had friends and family who would call me and they would just dump off and project all their problems on me. Well, I started having my own problems. Me and the wife wasn't doing well. Things wasn't going well. I'm tired. I'm physically tired because I'm working myself into oblivion. The family wasn't able to come down because COVID. They can't get on the plane, so I can't go see nobody. We can't do it. And then on top of it, I got sick with COVID. So it's like it's just piling up. But yet the people who are calling me to spill their situations on me, they're not thinking about me. So when I had to start thinking about myself and start pushing, dialing myself back, they all folded on me, everybody, because I was no longer available to listen to you complain to me about your life. This legitimately happened to me to the point to where I finally changed my phone number, and changing my phone number brought me so much joy and peace. Like, you could ask Mike. He was looking for me for like 6 months because I forgot to tell him I changed my number. Remember when I went all the way off the grid, off social media and everything?
Yeah.
That was one of the catalysts that led to that. Me and my uncle had a falling out. Me and one of my cousins had a falling out. Me and one of my homegirls from 20 years ago had a falling out. And it's like, okay, cool. So before me and the next person fall out, let me just save y'all the trouble, and then I'll just go ahead and just dump all of y'all. Now I will gradually get back to y'all when I am in an emotionally healthy place to start dealing with people again.
Yeah, and that ties into the Xerox theory. You know, with that story also ties into the gas station theory as well. But we'll bring that back up at a later scheduled show. You know what I'm saying? For those that missed that show, we'll bring it back up and reintroduce y'all to the gas station theory. But in a nutshell, man, I just want everybody, and I want to make sure this is heard clearly. You do not have to slow down your level of success or push your level of success to the side to try to appease somebody else, or somebody else is jealous or whatever. You don't have to stop trying to go after what you're trying to go after. You know, you should be perfectly fine with understanding that you got some people that's gonna be rooting for you, and some people they gonna be silent about it, but you gonna know how they feel for real. Like I said, see how often they pick up the phone. Just give them a simple phone call, see if they pick up. How many times do they pick up? Tell them that your tire blew. Tow truck said they won't be there for 4 hours. See if they'll come. Just test and see. But that's all I got, man. Do not suppress your success for nobody. Period.
And that ties into that other. What's that other statement that I like so much? The don't ever dim your light to make somebody else's bright.
Yep.
You be great in your own capacity. Don't ever. And again, I'm the core audience who tunes into this podcast is of age and older. But a lot of us, even yet and still at this age, we still have this huge problem with feeling like we're obligated to give somebody else a level up that they didn't earn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're my sister, I don't care if you're my brother, aunt, uncle. I don't care who you are. You have to walk the steps that God gave you to walk. And if you don't do what you are supposed to do in your life, that is not my fault. You don't save money. You don't work. You don't take care of your responsibilities. If you don't handle your business, please do not project that off on me, because I do. My money, my time, my effort goes to the people that I dedicated those resources to.
There you go.
That does not mean that I'm unwilling to help, but there's too many people who need too much help too often.
Mm-hmm.
Get off your ass and go do something with yourself. You will spend less time being resentful if you busy. Busy people don't have time to hate.
What up, Wayne? What's going on, Mickey Waves? What up, dude?
Yo. All right, guys, go ahead and give them the closeout, Midas.
Man, so thank y'all for rocking with us today. Make sure y'all hit us up on the YouTube channel. He finna post that link. Like, share, subscribe, and click the bell. Make sure y'all tap in. We are 300. Where we at? 326 strong.
326 YouTube subscribers.
Man, come on, y'all, tap in with us, man. We need to get them numbers up. Also, make sure you hit us up on the Facebook group, the Extraordinary Being Facebook group. That is where you can tap in with us directly. Unless we are already homies on Facebook, you can just hit me in the inbox. You can DM me, whatever. Hit me up. But hit us up in the group for sure, because that's where we talk about a lot of topics that we bring them right here to discuss with the world. All right? So, love y'all.
And don't forget, the most important thing in the world to me, and I want to share this with y'all real quick before we get up out of here. Be successful, whatever it is that you do. You show your self-love. You take care of yourself, because you can't do nothing for nobody else until you can do for yourself. You build yourself. You develop yourself, and you be proud of your achievements and your accomplishments. You don't dim yourself. You do not intentionally humble yourself to try to make somebody else feel better. And you do everything that you can to help, but do not become an enabler. And for everything else, send them away.
And we're going to end it like that.
All right, y'all, that's our time. I got to go run to the store, and I got to figure out how much a new MacBook Pro is going to cost me for my
Oh,
job.
man.
Oh, my God. Oh, no.
Man.
All right.
Hold on, wait. No. You got to do the outro, Jones, however you know me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Come with it.
I was just thinking about the price tag. So anyway, guys, that's our time today. Thank you guys for tuning into the Extraordinary Men Podcast. I am Phil Jones, or Mike Jones, however you know me personally and professionally. And you guys know who the greatest co-host on the face of the planet is. I told you I got to find something better than co-host, but I won't.
We're going to work on it. It's fine.
Lazy.
Okay, fine. I am the world's greatest B Mike. I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
Told you it's an A minus Mike. We don't do B mics over here, cuz.
Yes, sir.
We extraordinary men. All right, guys.
Peace.
Peace.